Good day, future forester. I am Carmela Benantoles, and for today's video, we were going to tackle about the ecology. The subject of this is forest ecology. Then, ako karon ihatag sa inyo kung unsa ni ang forest ecology kay mo ato ang subject. So, forest ecology is the scientific study of the interrelated patterns, processes, flora, fauna, and ecosystems in forest. The management of forest is known as forestry, silviculture, and forest management. Forest ecology is the study of all aspects of the ecology of model wooded areas including rainforest, deciduous and evergreen, temperature and boreal forest. So mao to siya ang meaning sa forest ecology nga nag-study siya sa all aspects sa ecology. First anang wooded areas including rainforest, deciduous og mga evergreen. Then the next is our topic for today is ecology, its definition and scope. Then ecology is the study of the interrelationship and interdependence of organisms with their environment. It is also known as science of the living environment. It is primarily concerned with the populations, community and the ecosystem. Population are groups of individuals of the same species in a certain area in a given time, while the community refers to all population occupying in a given area. The interactions of community and the non-living environment are called in ecological system or ecosystem. Sometimes these are also referred to as the life support system. So, ang ecology is the study of the relationships between living organisms, including humans and their physical environment. Ecology considers organisms at the individual's population, community, ecosystem, and biosphere level. An example of ecology is studying the food chain in the wetlands area, branch of biology dealing with the relationships of organisms with the environment and with each other. So kaning ecology is study ni siya of all organisms including na ani ang environment. Pares anang study sa mga organism, pares anang mga gagmay nga organisms, apil na ana ang dili organism o apil na ana ang living og non-living things. Then ang example, then what is ecology? Di maana ni ang ecology. The word ecology is derived from the Greek word oikos that means household and logos that means study. Thus the study of the environmental house includes all the organism in it and all functional processes that make the house habitable. Therefore, ecology is defined as the study of life at home with emphasis on the totality or pattern of relations between organisms and their environment. So, mauna ganito ako ang giingon nga ang ecology is nag-study ni siya sa environment o between sa organisms o kanang the word kung sa Greek word pa, ang oikos is means an household, then ang logos means study. So, pag-study ni siya sa mga kanang habitable, kanang mga habitat sa lain-laing organisms, pares sa mga non-living o living organisms. So, ang ekolohiya ay ang pag-aaral ng ugnayan at pagkakaugnay ng organismo sa kanilang kapaligiran. Ito ay kilala rin bilang science of the living environment. Pangunahing pag-alala ito sa mga population, komunidad at ecosystem. So, the example of ecology is the study of relation between organisms and their environment and the balances between their relationships. So, mauna siya ang study kanang blue words, mauna siya ang abiotic factors, din ang red words mo na siya ang biotic factors. So makita nato dira nga gi-study gyud ang ecology is nag-study gyud ni sa tanan para sa insects, plants, microorganisms, reptiles, mammals ug birds, then air, carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, then water. Ug kani ecology is dili lang ni siya nag-study sa mga kanang non-living things or non-living factors. Nag-study po ni siya sa mga living factors or abiotic factors o biotic factors. So that's all for today. And once again, this is Carmela Benantoles, your reporter for today. Unta na may nasabtan sa akong report. Then the next reporter is mag-report siya sa the subdiscipline of ecology. That's all. Thank you and God bless.
Hi, I am Balili and today we will be tackling about the subdisciplines ecology. The subdisciplines of ecology covers a wide range of phenomena and just as biologists group into physiologists, taxonomies, and so on. Different ecologies tend to concentrate on different aspects of ecosystems. Physical ecology or ecophysiology is the study of how environmental factors influence the physiology of organisms. So, physical ecology is a branch of biology na nag-study sa relationship between plants and animals. And when we say physical ecology, it includes wind, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. Population ecology is the study of the dynamic, structure, and distribution of popularity. So, population ecology, sila ang nakatuka kung giunsa sa species population pag-interact sa environment such as birth and death rates. Community ecology is the study of interactions during among individuals and population of different species. So, ang community ecology is the study of group or organization. So, community ecology is the study of group of people or organization, and sila ang nag-study sa functioning of community. And then, sila po ang nag-study sa kung asang isa ka species particularly nagpuyo.
The fluxes of elements are strongly coupled to each other, and often one limiting element regulates the fluxes of the others. This chapter gives an introduction to the most important elements and to some key concepts or cornerstone: mass balance, limiting non-events, optimality, and steady state. At the ecosystem level, we are interested in structural and functional attributes of the system as a whole. So, evolution, it is the development of changes that can be passed genetically over the history of an organism. So, evolutionary ecology, ang main anemia is mass balances, mga interactions between organisms mo na main na sa evolutionary ecology. So the study of how ecological factors cause changes in an organism throughout its history is what we call evolutionary ecology. So both ecology and evolution na mag-examines on how interactions between and within species evolve. Muna siya ang evolutionary ecology. Next, we have productivity, the conversion of solar energy and non-living chemicals to chemical energy and mass through photosynthesis, and conversion of the energy and mass in plants to energy and mass in animals and microbes. So, productivity is the conversion of the sun's energy into organic material through photosynthesis. Primary productivity is very important because it is the process that forms the foundation of food webs in most ecosystems. So, in the pictures I presented to you is what we call high productivity. So, the first picture is what we call tropical forests. So, tropical forests are not just important for the climate, but they have many functions and provide us with food and water. So, the second picture also is floodplains. So, floodplains also provide flood risk reduction benefits by showing runoff and storing flood water. And then the third picture is coral reefs. No, ang coral reefs isa siya ka example sa high productivity nga nag-provide sa mga ecosystem for life underwater, protect coastal areas by reducing the power of waves hitting the coast, and provide a crucial source of income for millions of the people. So, coral reefs is very important. Kaya makatabang gihapon siya sa mga millions of people. And especially sa mga fishes. So, the fourth picture is what we call areas of upwelling. Ang areas of upwelling supports the growth of seaweed and plankton, provide food for fish, marine mammals, and birds. So kung kabantay mo ang kanang areas of upwelling, mao na kibali siya ang nadira ang kanang mga guso, kanang mga pagkaon sa mga fish, mao na siya nadira at tanan sa areas of upwelling. And then the last picture that I've presented to you is what we call sugar cane fields. Ang sugar cane fields mag-produce na siya og mga goods. As a whole na siya ang sugar cane fields. So, mao to siya ang productivity. Next, we have food webs. The way in which energy is distributed among the organisms of the system. So, the picture shows the transfer of energy within an ecosystem. Energy is transferred, yes, between sa mga organisms when one organism eats another. So, mo nang example sa food web. Next, we have cycling of matter. Stability or the processes that allow the system to adapt to uncertain and often catastrophic change in the environment. Interactions between land, air, and water. So sa cycling of matter, diri tanan nagmatter ang mga moves from one form to another or from one place to another on the earth and inside its ecosystems. Matter is constantly cycling from place to place, and this can have positive or negative effects because matter also cycles naturally and due to human activities. Example of cycling of matter is water cycle, carbon cycle, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Next, we have landscape ecology. Study these reciprocal interactions between spatial patterns and ecological processes. Turner et al. 2003. So from the word ecology, mo ni siya ang composed of homogeneous and discrete communities like population, mga species, mo na diraa ang homogeneous. Ang landscape pod is made of heterogeneous communities like patches, corridors, matrix, and etc. Landscape ecology is also very important because it helps us realize landscape dynamics brought by biotic or mga biotic means human activities and abiotic factors like mga fire, extreme weather, etc. So, the only constant in this world is change, of course. And this applies to our nature and landscapes because change is inevitable as we move towards progress. Good thing landscape ecology helps us conserve, preserve, and sustain our natural resources in the midst of change. The last is theoretical production ecology, tries to quantitatively study the growth of crops. The plant is treated as a kind of biological factory which processes light, carbon dioxide, water, and nutrients into harvestable parts. Main parameters kept into consideration are temperature, sunlight, standing crop biomasses, plant production, distribution, nutrient, and water supply. So, um, theoretical ecology is the use of conceptual or mga mathematical and mga computational methods to address ecological problems. It uses idealized mga representation sa mga ecological systems, often parameters with real data para sa ma-investigate ang mga issue o mga interactable, experimental, or mga observational investigation. So that is what we call theoretical production ecology.
Good day everyone, I am Gisami Palaran Bandola and now we will tackle the laws of ecology. Ecology means the branch of biology that deals with the relations of organisms to one another and to their physical surroundings. The following are the laws of ecology. Number 1, everything is related to everything else. Second, everything must go to somewhere. Third, nature knows best. The last one is, there is no such thing as a free lunch. The first law of ecology is everything is related to everything else. It reflects the existence of the elaborate network of the interconnections in the ecosphere among different living organisms and between populations, species, and individual organisms and their physiochemical surroundings. So the connections may be physical, such as our heart is joined with our body. Nature may also be functionally connected, such as two birds communicating with each other through the pattern of their sounds. The second law of ecology is everything must go to somewhere. Everything must go to somewhere, no matter what you do and no matter what you use. It has to go somewhere. For example, when you burn wood, it doesn't disappear. It turns into a smoke which rises into the air and ash, which falls back down to the earth. The third law of ecology, nature knows best. This principle is the most basic and fact encompasses all the others. Humans have to understand nature and have to abide the rules nature dictates. In essence, one must not go against the natural processes if one would like to ensure a continuous and steady supply of resources. The fourth law of ecology, there is no such thing as a free lunch. The second law of thermodynamics tells us that in the very process of using energy, human beings use up, but do not destroy energy, in the sense that they transform it into unworkable forms. In any transformation of energy, some of it is always degraded in this way. The next is divisions of ecology. Ecology is principally divided into 5 divisions. First, oticology. Oticology is the study of individual organisms. The approach originally focused on the adaptiveness of an organism's physiology to the environment, but has since been expanded to include the study of the distribution and dynamics of population. The second is synecology. Synecology is defined as the study of the groups or the communities of organisms, their compositions and their relationships with each other and their environment. It is also known as the ecology of communities. It is further of 3 types: population ecology, community ecology, and ecosystem ecology. The third, gynecology. Gynecology, a branch of ecology concerned primarily with the species and its genetically variant subdivisions, with their position in nature and with the controlling and ecological factors. Fourth, ecosystem analysis. Ecosystem analysis is a mix of biochemistry, ecophysiology, and micrometeorology that emphasizes the circulation, transformation, and accumulation of energy and matter through the medium of living things and their activities. The last one is paleoecology. Paleoecology, the ecology of the past, uses geological and biological evidence from fossil deposits to investigate the past occurrence, distribution, and abundance of different ecological units, species, population, and communities on a variety of time scales.
Good day, everyone. This is Soldia, the reporter for this topic all about ecology, the structure and function. So when you say about structure, it leads to the question how it put together, and function, what does it do? So unsa iyang kanang gigamitan, unsa iyang function or unsa responsibility anak niya anak nabutang. So next, ecosystem structure. It includes the organism and physical features of the environment, including the amount of and distribution of the nutrients in a particular habitat. So, when we say about ecosystem structure, it includes also the distribution of energy in our environment. So, it is the climatic condition prevailing in the particular environment, like kanang mga bayot or mga living organism and non-living organism. So I have here the two main components of structure, ecosystem structure. Animate or biotic factors. Living factors that affect an organism's ability to survive and reproduce. So example of these are predator, prey, mga insects, bacteria, plants, and etc. Inanimate or abiotic factors. It is physical and chemical factors that affect an organism's ability to survive and reproduce. So mga non-living factors, like example soil, mga water, sunlight na hatag og energy sa mga tanom, like kanang mga soil na ng mga nutrients. So next, ecosystem function. It is the capacity of natural processes and components to provide goods and services that satisfy human needs either directly or indirectly. So, it is also conceived as a subset of ecological processes and ecosystem structures. So, it regulates the essential ecological processes, supports life system. So, muna sila ang kanang suporta, so renders stability, responsible for the cycling of nutrients between biotic and abiotic components. So moto ganina akong ipakita na example. So operational environment. So when say about operational environment, it is the physical environment around living organism that governs how ecosystem interact and functions. Operational environment affects everything like growth, disease, insects, reforestation, distribution of plants and animal species, like aning kuan, like mga big drivers or non-big drivers, like anang mag-harvest og mga kuan, mga kahoy like timber, then silviculture. Ecological communities. So when it's about ecological communities, a group of species that are commonly found together includes plant community, all trees, birds, deer, foxes, squirrels, insects, and all other species living there or migrating seasonally. So example of this kanang sa picture no kanang natural forces. So it modified the operational environment, like for example, landslide, volcanoes, root disease, floods. So mo na sila ang pinusay natural forces, mo na sila ang mga disturbances maka-disturb sa operational environment, like kanang windrow, like floods, volcanoes, root disease, kanang mga fire, kanang mga sunog, like kanang kung kuan man, kung human activities or natural activities man lang siya. So mo na siya ang kanang mga disturbances sa operational environment. So that
Hello everyone, I am Pia Martinelli Isarna, and for today I will going to discuss about the types of the ecosystem. So terrestrial ecosystem is a land-based community of organism and interaction of biotic and abiotic components in a given area. It is also exists on continents and islands of the world and comprehends a series of dynamic open interaction systems that include living and non-living entities and activities, interrelation, chemical reaction, physical changes, and all other phenomena of each. Fundamentally, climax vegetation is the key to delimiting and recognizing terrestrial biome. Also, it refers to continents, island, or any upper ground level of the Earth, and includes the series of dynamic open interaction systems that also include living and non-living organisms and activities and all other phenomena of each. So these are the components of terrestrial ecosystem. First is physical components. Second, soil components. Third, plant components, which include forest land, brushland, grassland, cropland, and mangrove. So fourth is animal components, and five, saprove components. Physical component is temperature, humidity, wind, precipitation, light, and etc. Soil components, physical and chemical properties of soil. So next is forest land, a community dominated by trees. Brushland, a community dominated by brushes and shrubs. And grassland, a community dominated by grasses. And cropland, a community seasonally planted with cash crops or permanent agricultural crops. When we say seasonally planted with cash crops, kini nga mga tanom like coffee, cacao, tea, tubo or sugarcane, cotton, and spices, those are the example of cash crops. Last is mangrove, a community found on a tidal flat along the seacoast extending along the streams where the water is brackish. So, ini na mga kuan guys, sa kuan kani sa plant component. Next is animal components. This includes the mammals, reptiles, and birds or avian group of species. Last is saprove components. This includes the virion, virus, fungi, and bacteria. So next, freshwater ecosystem is an ecosystem that exists on ponds, marshes, swamps, lakes, and streams where living and non-living entities are interacting to each other to produce an exchange of energy and materials to each component. Limnology is a comprehensive study of all the components of inland aquatic ecosystem and their interrelationships. So these are the series of freshwater ecosystem. First is lentic ecosystem. It's an ecosystem found in lakes and ponds. Lotic ecosystem is an ecosystem found in springs, brooks, creeks, and rivers. Last is wetland ecosystem. It's an ecosystem found in marshes and swamps. Freshwater habitats occupy a relatively small portion of the earth, but their importance to humans is far greater than their area for the following reasons. First is the most convenient and cheapest source of water for domestic and industrial needs. Second, the bottleneck in the hydrologic cycles. And last, provide more convenient and cheapest tertiary waste disposal system. So that's all. Mr. Mark Eglico will continue the discussion about the types of ecosystem. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. This is our for today. The topic is marine or saltwater ecosystem. So let's start. It's an ecosystem that exists in the ocean to their shores and estuaries, where living and non-living entities are interacting upon each other. Saltwater ecosystems are again in the water, but unlike freshwater ecosystem, saltwater ecosystem have every saltwater. They also make up the vast majority of the Earth ecosystem. They are the world's largest ecosystem. Example, our saltwater ecosystem are ocean and coral reefs. Seaweeds is one of the most common types of plant that live in saltwater ecosystem. The principal features of the sea that is the ecological interest. So number one, the sea is the big. The sea is the big. It covers 70% of the Earth surface. Number two, the sea is the deep and left extend to all its reach. Number three, the sea is continuous, thus allowing free movement of marine organisms. Four, the sea is continu- continuously circulating. Five, the sea is dominated by waters of many kinds and by tides produced by the fall of moon and sun. Number six, the sea, the sea is the salty. Number seven, the sea is the alkaline strong buffers but often low in vital nutrients. Based on the zonation of the sea, the sea, as well as the complex nature of the seabed sea, therefore is categorized into Neritic zone, the shallow water zone on the continental shelf, in inter, intertidal zone, the, the area between high and low tide. 3. Bathyal zone, a region, a region of the continental Andres where is in characterized by trenches and canyons ocean region. Therefore, Hagal zone, the very deep area of the ocean. Marine ecosystem may be conveniently considered three major components. Number one, seaweed component. This includes all plants or seaweeds living on the sea seaweeds. Number two, tideful component. This includes all plants are seaweeds living on the seaweeds. Injurious injurious component. This includes all organisms in the intertidal zone. The Z, C, ecosystem components. Ecosystem is an assemblage of living and non-living components interacting with the physical environment, so that the energy and material flow and the unit system at attends of degree of commun- community plus habitat in called ecosystem. The, the ecological system or ecosystem has three interrelated functions: productive, regu- regulative, and productive. Three ecosystem components are categorized as follows. Topic means feeding food chain in the sequence of orga- organisms in which one feeds on one pres- preceding, while the food in consisting of several food chains which have connections at different points or interlocking points. So the functional position of an organism in the food chain is called the topic level. The following are the ecosystem components based on the topic standpoint. Autotrophic components: those entities capable of nourishing, of manufacturing their own food first. Depicts they fix light energy, ut- utilize inorganic substances, and build up complex substances. Hot- Heterotrophic components: those entities that are not capable of manufacturing their own food but depend on other organisms for this nourishment. First, they utilize organic substances, then decomposing it. Sapro, sapro, sap, Saprotrophic component: those entities that consume dead organic matters.
Good everyone, so this is my report of ecosystem components. Ecosystem is an assemblage of, of living and non-living components in interacting with the physical environment so that the energy and material flows and the unit system attains a degree of community plus habitat is called ecosystem. The ecological system or ecosystem has three interrelated functions: protective, regulative, and productive. An ecosystem is a geographic area where plants, animals, and other organisms, as well as weather and landscape, work together to form a bubble of life. Ecosystem contain biotic or living parts as well as biotic factors or non-living parts. Example of land-based ecosystems are forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, tundra ecosystem, and desert ecosystem. Trophic. Trophic means feeding. Food chain is the sequence of organisms in which one seeds, one presiding, while the food web is containing a several food chain which have interconnection at different points or interlocking points. Thus, the functional position of an organism is the food chain is called a trophic level. This is a definition. Trophic level, a level or a position of a group of organisms in food chain, or a food web, or an ecological pyramid. The following are the ecosystem component based on trophic standpoint: autotrophic component, heterotrophic component, saprotrophic component. First is autotrophic component. An autotroph or primary produces an organism that produces complex organic compounds such as carbohydrates, fats, and protein, using carbon from simple substances such as carbon dioxide, generally using energy from light, photosynthesis, or inorganic chemical reaction, chemosynthesis. Second is heterotrophic component. A heterotroph is an organism that eats other plants or animals for energy and nutrients. And last, saprotrophic component. Saprotroph, also called saprophyte or saprobe, organism that feeds on non-living organic matter known as detritus at a microscopic level.